हरे कृष्ण। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। We'll summarize the previous chapter, the 13th chapter, and then we'll go further. So here the analogy is given of a merchant. Merchant is the compared to conditioned souls, that is every human being, and the forest is the material world, and the profit he seeks in this forest is compared to pleasure we are seeking in the material world. And whatever dangers they are in the forest, they are the miseries and illusion of this world. So there are the seven things that are given here. So first thing it is compared to the merchant enters the forest. That means the living entities enter into this material world, accepts this material body which is having repeated birth and death. And every soul enters material existence driven by desires for happiness and pleasure, wealth and experience. So, like a merchant entering a dangerous forest, hoping to gain profit, the soul enters the material world. Uh, so, this is, I will I'll take this too. So this is the overall summary. We'll just and there the core teachings. First is the merchant enters into the forest, that is living entity entering into the material world, accepting repeated birth and death. And here the important thing is what all things we are seeking. We are seeking happiness, pleasure, wealth, and experience. Like a merchant entering dangerous forest, hoping to gain profit, the soul is entering. So he works very hard day and night like a merchant, and but he cannot actually achieve happiness. The philosophical point is soul is eternal and spiritual, but it is caught up by three modes of material nature. So this is the first thing to understand. Now, second thing is the six plunderers. So it's a very six things only we have to remember from the previous chapter. What are the six plunderers? All the senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, tongue, mind. So which we are trying to enjoy. So like tigers and jackals robbing a lamb, the senses rob what they are robbing: discrimination, wealth of knowledge, and ultimately peace. So these three things we are losing: discrimination, wealth of knowledge, and ultimately peace. We are not getting any of these things. Here it is buddhi, and wealth of knowledge is also part of buddhi. And this is, then there is uh, peace of mind, where this is chitta. Okay. So now the third thing that is compared is wife and children. This is a sweet bondage. But tigers, jackals, and ferocious animals, they are ready to take away the lamb. The wife and children enter into the heart of the merchant. So this is very important. This is not a condemnation of family life. You see, this is not the condemnation of family life. It is a profound psychological observation that the deepest emotional attachment becomes the strongest chains, right? The merchant who enters forest for profit finds himself so consumed by love, duty, fear, and responsibility towards family that he completely forgets his original purpose and his own spiritual nature. So this is the point here. So it is not the condemnation, but it is the forgetful of the purpose. This should be remembered. So the family is not evil, but excessive attachment to family, mistaking it for the ultimate purpose of life, becomes a form of spiritual blindness. A man spends his entire life earning profit, protecting and worrying for those he loves, and dies having never asked the deeper question: who am I? Why am I here? So, this is the most important thing. Like people are taking illusory things as serious, and then they are forgetting the purpose. So three lessons we learned. First is this: we are entering into the forest of metal world. Second is the six senses are plundering us. Third is the family relationship and attachments, which are making us ask the basic question: who am I? Why am I here? And then the fourth thing is many illusions and sufferings of the forest. So what is this illusion sufferings? So we are in this metal world. What all types of sufferings we get? So, six senses are plundering us, family attachments are making us forget the purpose of life, and after that, we are given so many types of miseries. Biting of mosquitoes in the forest is envious people, and fleeting ghosts and all is a sudden fear, anxiety, bad dreams, dust from whirlwind, lust, attraction to the opposite sex, owls and crickets, harsh words of enemies. Trees without fruits is false friends, useless association. And then we have mirage of water is chasing pleasures that always disappoint, like a mirage that vanishes when approached. And forest fire is like burning anxieties of household life. Heavy taxation from government. This is hard-earned money. It is, of course, in the forest you don't have any taxation, but that is the analogy that is given. And uh, poisonous snakes is enemies who strike suddenly and unexpectedly, that are there in this material world. Dark valleys, falling into sinful life, addictions, hellish states of mind. There are dark wells in the forest. Somebody falls into it. So in this material world, people fall into sinful life, addictions. And python swallowing is like being overwhelmed by diseases, lethargy or unconsciousness. So chronical diseases people are getting, it's like devoured by a python. And bees are attacking. That is being humiliated while pursuing sex enjoyment. He's trying to go and enjoy somebody else's wife and other things. Heat and cold is natural calamities, uncontrollable external sufferings. So all these things that are happening. So the fourth thing is that what all types of miseries that are there in this world, and they are compared to the forest in this. So each of there is not just a whatever, it's a precise description of a real human experience that every person recognizes from their own life. And then the fifth point is to remember is the cycle never ends. That means no one knows how to get out of this even up to the moment of death. So this is the most important point. No one knows only. Nobody tells them what to do. So this is perhaps the most devastating line in the entire passage. So a person is born, his parents die, he grieves, he gets attached to his own children, he struggles his whole life, he approaches death, still confused, still attached, still without answers. You can see how many people are living their body like this. He wanders on the path. So the fifth point is that in spite of suffering like that, he don't know. No, he continues in the cycle of birth and death, confused, attached, without answers. So he wanders in the path of material progress and is eventually embarrassed. Nonetheless, no one knows how to get out of this, even up to the moment of death. At least we are knowing the path, we have to work on it. The merchant keeps moving from place to place in the forest, never finding the exit, never questioning whether there is an exit, never stopping to ask the right question. So, this is actually what is happening to the living entity. They are not able to ask this question. He is stuck in the forest, not able to get out. And all the miseries of the forest, they are there. The mosquitoes, the bees, the snakes, the poisonous snakes, python, everything is there. And tigers, jackals, everything is there. And the sixth one is the monkey mind. What is that? Sometimes he makes friends with cranes, herons, and vultures. Being cheated by them, he again returns to the association of monkeys. So, this is like sometimes he seeks spiritual association but again falls back. So, roaring of lions is fear of death and suffering that drives spiritual seeking. So, then he's taking shelter of, he's afraid of lion. Lion is what? Death. Lion is death. And to come out of this death, he is taking help of whom? Cranes and vultures. They are false gurus, fake yogis, and fraudulent spiritual teachers. So, this is actually what is happening to a living entity. And then it is compared to monkeys. What are the monkeys? Sense gratifying people interested only in pleasure and entertainment. And tree of household life. The comfortable but ultimately fruitless life of pure materialism. The soul, frightened by death, seeks pleasure, seeks spiritual guidance, and it finds false teachers. Disappointed, it gives us spiritual seeking altogether and return to the company of monkeys. Those who live only for pleasure of sex and entertainment. The cycle of false seeking and retire into sense gratification is described with devastating accuracy. So these are the situation of this living entity. So first six things. So again revision. First is living entity comes into this material world. Second is the six plunderers. The senses are plundering him. Second is third is family attachments. There are the different types of attachments, which is wife, children, and all. They are for making him not able to question what is the purpose of life. Fourth is different types of miseries he experiences in the forest, like bees and mosquitoes and crickets and all these things. Then he is in the repeated birth and death. He don't know how to come out of it, right? And the sixth one is this one. He is taking false shelter of. He is afraid of death, but he is taking false guru shelters, not able to come out. And the solution part is, so this is what Jadabharata told to Rahugana. So this is what is the situation of living entity. Now what is the solution? Solution he gives, give up attraction to the sense objects and take up the sword of knowledge sharpened by devotional service. This is what Krishna also tells, so in the 15th chapter, after painting this extraordinary vivid picture of human suffering, Jaravad reveals the solution. He says, give up your kingly position with the rod by which you punish criminals. Give up attraction for sense objects and take up the sword of knowledge sharpened by devotional service. Then you will be able to cut the hard knot of illusory energy and cross to the other side of ocean of nescience. Solution is like first step is give a false authority. That means stop thinking you are the controller and master. Detach from sense objects. Stop believing material things can give lasting happiness. And take up the sword of knowledge sharpened by devotional service. That is, combine philosophical wisdom with loving devotional service. So these are the solution part. Detach and take up. So then what happened to Rahugana? He got transformed. He says that, oh, by associating with you, just for a moment, I am now free from all argument, false prestige, and lack of discrimination, which are the root of entanglement in material world. What are the root of entanglement? Uh, False prestige and lack of discrimination. So, and then he appreciates that human birth is better than even demigod birth also. So, this is the solution part we discussed yesterday. So, the soul is enters material world, seeks happiness, trapped by six senses, plunderous, and then get bound by family attachment, faces endless suffering, all the forest dangers, seeks false solutions, aeons, canes, monkeys, and return to sense gratification again, dies still confused and in the cycle of repeated birth. Now the solution part is associate with true saints, receive knowledge of soul's real nature, give up false identity and pride, take up the sword of knowledge with devotional service, cut the knots of illusion, cross the ocean of material existence, return to the eternal spiritual realm. See? So, and then we have this mirages chasing social media validation, material success and fame. This is, we are trying to relate to what is present scenario. And mosquitoes are toxic relationship and online negativity. Monkey association is mindless entertainment and addiction on screen. False gurus are spiritual influences selling profit, peace for profit. And forest fire is stress, anxiety, depression in family life, and heavy taxation by government and corporations during life energy. So the final message is that most urgent call to action is do not wait until death to ask the most important question. So we'll come to the next chapter now. Oh, sorry. Now what happened is Parikshit Maharaj want to understand it in a more deeper way. So he wanted to understand it a more deeper way. So King Parikshit asked Sukadeva Goswami about the direct meaning of material forest. Sukadeva Goswami replied as follows. My dear king, a man belonging to the mercantile community Vanika is always interested in earning money. Sometimes he enters the forest to acquire some cheap commodities like wood and earth and sell them in city at good prices. Similarly, the conditioned souls, being greedy, enters this material world for some material profit. Gradually enters the deepest part of the forest, not really knowing how to get out. Having entered the material world, the pure soul becomes conditioned by material atmosphere, which is created by the external energy under the control of Lord Vishnu. Thus, the living entity comes under the control of external energy, the Maya. Living independently and bewildered in the forest, he does not attain the association of devotees who are always engaged in the service of the Lord. Once in the bodily conception, he gets different types of bodies one after another under the influence of material energy and implied by the modes of material nature, Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. In this way, the conditioned soul goes sometimes to the heavenly planets, sometimes to the earthly planets, sometimes to the lower planets and lower species. Thus, he suffers continuously due to different types of bodies. These sufferings and pains are sometimes mixed. Sometimes they are very severe and sometimes they are not. Uh, Sometimes they are not. These bodily conditions are acquired due to conditioned soul's mental speculation. He uses his mind and five senses to acquire knowledge And these bring about different bodies and different conditions. Using the senses under the control of external energy Maya, the living entity suffers the miserable conditions of material existence, is actually searching for relief, but he is generally baffled. Although sometimes he is relieved after great difficulty, struggling for existence in this way, he cannot get the shelter of pure devotees, who are like bumblebees engaged in loving service at the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So huge translation, and Prabhupada gives nice purport. And we have some notes also to discuss on this. So the first thing that is explained here. So the merchant, he is entering into the forest, cheap commodities, material pleasures, securities, and so we'll just read Prabhupada purport. He also gave very huge purport. The most important information in this verse is Hari Guru Charana Aravinda Mukhara Anupada Vim. In this material world, the conditioned souls are baffled by their activities, and sometimes they are relieved after great difficulty. On the whole, the conditioned soul is never happy. He simply struggles for existence. Actually, his only business is to accept spiritual master guru, and through him he must accept the lotus feet of Lord. Most important point, please try to remember, what is the greatest security we have in this world? People think bank balance, I have good amount, that is security. If I have a permanent good house, that is security. Permanent job, I should have good children, grandchildren, and good friends, nice. So people count these as security. But real security in this world is only one, the lotus feet of the Lord. That is the security. If somebody is settled in their life, parents want their children to be settled. Where can we settle in this world? We can settle only at the lotus feet of Krishna. No other place to settle in this world. Bajahure mana Srinandanandana Abhaya Charanarvindare. People want everything to be secure. My mother, I was discussing yesterday. I said, oh, I told, see, compared to, I have brother and sister. See, I am the most settled person, even though relatively I am settled because I am trying to take shelter of lotus feet of Krishna. Other children, you are thinking your elder son is settled and daughter is settled. They are not settled. They are taking false shelters. At least I am trying to go in right direction. This is real settlement in life. There is no other settlement. If somebody is trying to go, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. People struggle for existence in the forest of cities and metal world are not actually enjoying. They are simply suffering different pains and pleasures. Generally, pains are always inauspicious. They try to gain release, but that is actually uh, Tadvijnanardam Sagurum Evabhigacche. That's all. We have to go to a guru and take a shelter. That is settlement. Even I am also not able to settle because settlement is mind should settle at the lotus feet of Krishna. That's what. When a living entity is lost in the forest of metal world, in the struggle for existence, his first business is to find a bona fide guru who is always engaged in the lotus feet of Lord. After all, if he is at all eager to relieve of the struggle for existence, he must find a bona fide guru, take instructions at his lotus feet. In this way, he can get out of the struggle. So, only settlement we have is at the lotus feet of our spiritual master. Is the only way we can attain pure devotional service. So that is what is settlement in life. If you want your children to settle, you are thinking that if I give some property, if I give this, they are not settled. They are only struggling. The struggle may be different. You don't want them to struggle for money. You don't want to struggle them for food and other things, but they will struggle for something else. Because this material world, you cannot, because you are in a forest, what type of things in the forest, they are all there here. So people are in the forest means you have mosquitoes, you have crickets, you have snakes, you have all the ferocious animals. So now in this material world we are there, that means all the things will be there for us. Family attachments, if you are thinking my son is settled, he has wife and children, so where is settlement for him? They are like tigers and jackals. You will have friends and enemies. They are like mosquitoes and crickets and envious people. They are already there. And then there is all the six plunderers are there. All the six senses, five senses and mind are there. So where is the question of your children getting settled? So that is not the settlement. Since metal world is herein is to compare herein to a forest, it may be argued that in Kali Yuga, modern civilization is mainly situated in cities. A great city, however, is like a great forest. Actually, city is more dangerous than life in forest. Prabhupada is writing. If one enters an unknown city without a friend or shelter, living in the city is more difficult than living in a forest. There are big cities all over the surface of globe, and wherever one looks, he sees the struggle for existence going on 24 hours a day. People rush about in cars going 70 and 80 miles an hour, constantly coming and going, and this sets the scene of the great struggle for existence. One has to rise early in the morning and travel in the car to at breakneck speed. There is always a danger of an accident, and one has to take great care. In this automobile, the living entity is full of anxieties. The struggle is not at all auspicious. Apart from human beings, other species like cats and dogs are also struggling very hard day and night for existence. Thus, the struggle for existence continues and the conditioned soul changes from one position to another. For a while, he is a child, but he has to become a boy. From boy, he has to change into youth. From youth to manhood and old age. Finally, when the body is no longer workable, he has to accept a new body in a different species. Giving up the body is called death. Accepting another body is called birth. The human form is an opportunity to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and through him, the Supreme Lord. This Krishna conscious movement has been started to give an opportunity for all the members of human society who are miserable by foolish, who are misled by foolish leaders. No one can get out of this struggle for existence, which is full of miseries, without accepting a pure devotee of the Lord. The material attempt changes from one position to another. No one actually gains relief from the struggle for existence. The only resort is the lotus feet of bona fide spiritual master. Through him, the lotus feet of the Lord. See how many times, proper 4 or 5 times he's telling in one purport, lotus feet of spiritual master, lotus feet of spiritual master, lotus feet, and through him. So, because people think they are settling in this world, that is not the settlement. Settlement is only at the lotus feet of spiritual master. If people can understand this important point, only settlement is lotus feet of spiritual master. That's the only settlement people can have in this world. Any other thing is only illusory and maya. It is only temporary, fleeting, and Kamala Jivana Talamala. So it is like a water on a lotus leaf. It will just fall down any moment. So what type of shelter? The holy name is the shelter. Spiritual master is the shelter. Service to spiritual master is the shelter. Any other thing is great illusion. That is reality. The forest of mental existence, the uncontrolled senses are like plunderers. The conditioned soul may earn some money for advancement of Krishna consciousness. But unfortunately, the uncontrolled senses plunder his money through sense gratification. The senses are plunderers because they make one spend his money unnecessarily for seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, hearing, desiring, and willing. So how many ways our senses are troubling us? In this way, the conditioned soul is obliged to gratify its senses and thus all his money is spent. This money is actually acquired by execution of religious principles but is taken away by the plundering senses. So when you do dharma, you get artha. But instead of engaging in Lord service, they do kama. They try to satisfy the senses. So this is the problem for the living entity. So So the living entity is suffering in a very so many different types of ways, and they don't know how to come out of it. That is the main problem. And nobody tells them proper guidance is not there also. And there is, we will go with the notes also. No, just I wanted to add some few points here. So the first thing is, so these two chapters, na, it is an a purport to the, this is the purport for the class given by Jadabharata to Rahugana, that Sukadeva Goswami is giving a purport for it. It is like that. So we'll try to analyze it more deeply. So the first point I'll add for you here. Even if we know, if we have to hear. So that is the first lesson we have to recently Bhaktivigyan Maharaj gave one uh, session. So he was telling, even if we know, we hear from these great souls, that will make us get to- so so we'll go for the purport. पूर्व जन्म अर्जित विद्या पूर्व जन्मार्जित धनम अग्रे धावति धावति. By following the principles of varnashram dharma, one attains a better position in material world. One may be rich, learned, beautiful, or highborn. One who is all one who has all these assets should know that they are all meant for advancement of Krishna consciousness. Unfortunately, when a person is misled by misuse his high position for sense gratification, therefore the uncontrolled senses are considered plunderers. The good position one attains by executing religious principles is waste as the plundering senses take it away. By executing religious principles under the law of Varnashram Dharma, one is placed in a comfortable position. So, actually, we always have to know it is not hard work that has put him. That is, his already he has performed some good activities in previous life. That is making him in that position. So he will everything goes very comfortable in his life. So one may very easily use his assets for further advancement in Krishna consciousness. One should understand that the wealth and opportunity one gets in the material world should not be squandered in sense gratification. They are meant for advancement in Krishna consciousness. This Krishna conscious movement is therefore teaching people to control the mind in five knowledge acquiring senses by definite process. So most important point Prabhupada is telling. One should practice little austerity and not spend money on anything other than the regulative life of devotional service. The senses demand that one see beautiful things. Therefore, money should be spent for decorating the deity in the temple. Similarly, tongue has to taste good food, which should be brought and offered to the deity. The nose can be utilized in smelling the flowers offered to deity, and hearing can be utilized to listening the vibrations of Hare Krishna. So in this way, senses should be regulated. Thus, a good position may not be spoiled by material sense gratification in the form of illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, gambling. Actually, no, these rich people, they are very unfortunate because we may think, oh, they are enjoying, they have so much luxury. But unfortunately, they are so much into sense gratification, they are forgetting the purpose of life. That's why Kunti Maharani is telling, Are re re Janma Ishwara Sutta Sribir, Yedhamana Madapuma, Naivartam Abidatum Vai Tvam Akinchan Gochara. So this is actually a disaster. Uh, Anything that increases the pride is a disaster. Because what is holding us from serving Krishna is our pride only. Why we are not able to chant the holy name with feelingly? Because of pride. We have we are so much identifying with our body, and we are so much feeling. As long as I want to hear my own glories, I cannot hear the glories of Krishna. It is not going to happen only. So if I want to enjoy name and fame, I want to hear my own name and fame. Then I don't want to hear Krishna's name and fame. So we cannot feelingly chant if you have this desire for name and fame. So this is how, so now people are spending so much money to become famous, and they are rich and enjoying. Where is then they are becoming rich, that is giving pride. And where is the question of feelingly chanting the holy name? So you see how unfortunate. Somebody is very simple, he's not into big name, fame, and all. If he takes to Krishna consciousness, it is easy for him to chant feelingly. So this is the advantage. Why we have to go to temple regularly, have deities at home, serve them? Because to develop that feelings. And now we have to give up our pride and start feeling dependent on Krishna. Start offering prayers to Krishna regularly. We have to feel for him. See, this material world is Jada Jagat. It is it's all dull matter. And spiritual world is Bhava Jagat. It is a world of feelings. So now to feel for Krishna is not natural for us. We feel for so many material things. That is why our heart is very hard. But we should start feeling for Krishna. As soon as one name of holy name is chanted, the tears should roll from our eyes. Tadasmasaram hidayam vadedam jihvagre vartate namatubhyam. So if you chant Hare Krishna and Krishna and tears are not coming from the eyes, heart is hard hearted. It's like a steel frame. So that means what? We should try to develop that feeling for Krishna. So every day you do something for Krishna, we start developing that feeling for him. Otherwise, not possible. Cook and offer something, offer prayers to him, chant for him, dance for him, read for him, and hear for something we should do personally to a person called Krishna. That should be everyday practice. That is what is 64 limbs of devotional service Rupa's Gami. Arey, this is a person Krishna. Do something for him every day. What did I do for him personally? Like, no, what happens is it becomes a ritual for us. After some time, okay, I completed my chanting, I completed my hearing, I completed my reading, I completed this Mangalarti. Did I do to a person Krishna? Or I did as a ritual. So Indians, we have this tendency to do things in a ritualistic way, and I am honestly telling, I have so much of this ritualistic tendency because I am born in a traditional Brahmana family. They are quite good in rituals. So that tendency is so much there. Okay, I have to do this. Morning means you ritualistically you perform bhakti. But that is not going to work in bhakti. Bhakti means it's a emotional thing. It's a feeling. You have to feel connection. You have to feel that this is a person I do for him. Ours is a personal moment. So then only it works. So the what holds us from being a personally relating is our pride. And also we were discussing that we have this, arthavada, all these materialistic tendencies. So this is all blocking us from feeling for Krishna. Such a disaster, such a unfortunate situation. Krishna is so always waiting. He is so personal and he want to reciprocate. He want to give everything he want to give, and we are not ready to take from him. Can you imagine? Krishna is always eager to give everything everything he has to for the living entity, and living entity don't want. He is interested in some petty things of this metal world, happy, trying to be happy with these illusory pleasures, and trying to make permanent settlement here. So this is what is happening to us. So very, can you imagine what an unfortunate? Krishna is ready to give everything and we are not ready to take only. My dear king, family members in this metal world go under the name of wife, children, but actually they behave like tigers and jackals. A herdsman tried to protect his sheep to the best of his ability, but the tigers and foxes take them away by force. Similarly, although a miserly man wants to guard his money very carefully, his family members take away all his assets forcibly, even though he is very vigilant. So we discussed in the previous point, the chapter also. It is not actually the family is not evil. What is evil is we are getting absorbed in that. That is actually evil. So, so this few things I wanted to add for you here. Proper purport is very nice, but this is we should take it properly. One Hindi poet, this is Ramcharitmanas by Tulsidas. He says, दिन की डाकनी रात की भागनी पलक पलक लहू चूसे. During the daytime, wife is compared to the witch, and night she is compared to a tigress. Her only business is sucking the blood of her husband both day and night. During the day, there are household expenditures and money earned by the husband at the cost of his blood is taken away. At night, due to sex pleasure, the husband discharges blood in the form of semen. In this way, he is bleeded by his wife both day and night. Yet he is so crazy that he very carefully maintains her. Similarly, the children are like tigers, jackals, and foxes. Tigers, jackals, and foxes take away lambs despite the herdsman's vigilant protection. Children take away the money, father's money, although the father supervises the money himself. Thus, family members may be called wife and children, but actually they are plunderers. This should be understood properly. It is not the mistake of wife, it is not mistake of children. It is his own attachment. So this is actually the proper way to understand. If what happens is people they try to blame, but it is not fair. Array, you want the pleasure. That's why you are paying for it, and the payment is wrong. Uh, so, like say, the person from Brahmacharya, he can directly take sannyas. Na? Why you want to go to Grihastha? That means he want to enjoy. You want to enjoy, then you have to pay. Nothing is free in this world. You are enjoying. When you enjoy, then children will come. And he enjoys the children also. The highest pleasure in family life is children. You are enjoying, then you have to pay also. And to give pleasure to the children, he goes and purchases things, he feeds them. When the children are very small, all the parents enjoy it. That is the payment. So, so the payment is what is told here. It is not their fault. You want it and you are paying it. Say if a person is going to a movie, he is paying for it. So, and he is enjoying whatever happens there. And he comes back. So he goes to a hotel, he eats, he is paying for it. So everywhere there is a payment. Nothing is free in this material world. If somebody is enjoying, either is he has paid it previously or is going to pay in the future. Either debit card or credit card. You pay it and then you eat, or you eat and pay. So nothing is free here. So now what is the problem is you get caught up, you get trapped with these things and you forget the main purpose of life. That is the point that is explained here. It is not, you cannot blame this person, that person. It is, we should blame ourselves. Say, if I am becoming angry, if I am becoming angry, that means the tendency to become angry is there in myself. Externally, it got triggered and this anger comes out. So now I cannot blame the trigger. I should blame that it is there in myself that is coming out. So here also, I have a tendency of lust. I have greed. I have all these things. So this is there that I have these tendencies, and now I cannot blame by my weakness on somebody else. It is not fair. I cannot blame my weakness on somebody else. So this is their fault, this is their fault. Arre, this is your weakness. You could have stayed away. You went into it and now you are paying it and you are telling their faults. This is not at all fair. So here consciousness is, that's why it is very clear written. So how the soul enters, first is greed drives entry. The conditioned souls driven by greed, you see, he enters the material world seeking profit, just as a merchant enters a dangerous forest for cheap commodities. Second is going deeper without knowing exit. He gradually enters the deepest parts of the forest, not knowing how to get out. So this is the tragedy. And then what happens? External energy takes away. That means once the material world, the pure soul becomes conditioned by material atmosphere created by Lord Vishnu's Maya. So this is the Vishnu Maya. This is like a fish that enters the fisherman's net. Once inside, the net tightens with every movement. And then the cycle of bodies begins under the influence of modes. So now here the plunderers are explained. So, so that the six plunderers are uncontrolled senses that we have heard in the previous section also. Now here the money was actually meant for religious purposes. But what is he doing? His money is using for sense gratification. Unnecessary expenses on visual entertainment, smell is perfumes, luxury items, sense pleasures, tasting addiction, food addiction, restaurant culture, alcohol, and physical gratification, comfort addiction, that is touching, and music, social media, noises, gossip, everything. And then what happens? The desire is desiring. This is the master thief. He generates all the desires. So the irony is the money was actually meant for religious purpose and for spiritual advancement, but it is gets completely hijacked by senses before it could be used for its real purpose. So presently what is happening? Person is earning good salary. Instead of investing uh, and retire early, but he every month is paying EMI, Netflix subscriptions, eating out, online shopping. This is as soon as people come from the office, first thing they do is what are the offers that are available? What is 30% off, 50% off? They want to just purchase online shopping. And then Swiggy, Zomato, just order and eat. And weekend trips, this drain away all their money and living nothing for the purpose of life. So this is such a big trap. And no, they earn money and they want to go to Europe tour, Malaysia, this, there. So I am not telling it is right or wrong. I am telling how much energy is going in that direction, and which is supposed to be for spiritual purpose. So family life, the tigers and jackals. So family members behave like tigers. So this is uh, tigers and jackals. A herdsman try to protect the sheep, but tigers and fox takes them away by force. Why comparison made? Not that family is evil. See, by excessive attachment to family create the deepest entanglement. This is the problem. The miserly man guards his resources carefully, but family must claim them forcefully, rightfully or not. The more one gives, the more one is demanded. This is the cycle without natural end. So, and interestingly, no matter how much you do, you can never satisfy the family members. Women may serve the family members, still family members are still thinking maybe she can do more. Husband is earning and giving money, there will be always some insufficiency. So it will never end here. So even if so now the analogies will come. So yeah, even if camphor is removed from the pot remains aroma of camphor. As long as the seeds of desire are not destroyed, fruitive activities are not destroyed. So this is actually the further we will take this translation. So such heavy detachment classes from Jadabharata and Parikshit Goswami. Every year, the plowman plows over his grain fields, completely uprooting all weeds. Nevertheless, the seeds lies there and not being completely burned again, come up with the plants sowing in the field. Even after being plowed under, the weeds come up densely. Similarly, the Grahasthashram. Family life is a field of fruitive activities. Unless the desire to enjoy family life is completely burned out, it grows up again and again. Even though camphor may be removed from the pot nevertheless retains the aroma of camphor as long as the seed of desire are not destroyed, fruitive activities are not destroyed. So this I will bring it here. Okay, we'll first read from Prabhupada Purport and then we'll. Unless one's desires are completely transferred to the service of the Supreme Lord, the desire for family continues even after one has taken sannyas. You see, sometimes in our society, ISKCON, a person out of sentiment may take sannyas, but because his desires are not burnt completely, he again takes to family life, even at the risk of losing his prestige and disgracing his good name. These strong desires can be burnt out completely when one fully engages in service of Lord. So even sannyasis, they become grihasthas, and we have seen many examples within ISKCON. Prabhupada is directly writing in purport only. And this is actually the very big unfortunate situation, because why? Because they are not able to derive the taste in service of the Lord. So sometimes the conditioned soul in household being attached to material wealth and position is disturbed by envious men who are like gadflies and mosquitoes, and sometimes is troubled by thieves who are like locusts, birds of prey and rats. Nonetheless, he still wanders down the path of material existence. Due to ignorance, he becomes lusty and engages in fruitive activities. Because his mind is absorbed in these activities, sees the material world as permanent. Although it is temporary like a phantasmagoria, a house in the sky. So the following song is sung by Nartham Das Thakur. अहंकारा मत्त होया निताय पदा पसारिया असतेरा सत कोरिमानी. Due to forgetting the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda and being baffled, being puffed up by material positions, wealth, and opulence, one thinks the false temporary world to be an actual fact. So, this is the thing. See, why we are not able to take the shelter of Lord Nityananda, of all the people, why Nityananda Prabhu? Because he is Guru. Original Guru is Nityananda Prabhu. Without him, we cannot come out only. There is no way. We have to take shelter of lotus feet of Nityanand Prabhu. And Nityanand Prabhu's lotus feet shelter is through lotus feet of our spiritual master. Such a important thing. This is why Krishna had to make that type of arrangement. Why not directly him? Because we are so much puffed up. So Krishna is telling, Array, first you learn to deal with Guru properly. Then only you can deal with me. You cannot directly deal with me. You first learn to serve Guru properly. When you serve him, you please him. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadat. Directly Krishna, we cannot approach only. We will only commit offenses because we become inattentive. So when Guru is present in front of us, we are conscious. Okay, he is there, standing, he is reciprocating, he is watching, he is observing. And then we work with him, and then we will be qualified with Krishna. Because to serve Krishna is very, it's like Yashoda Mai, na, she's so ultra conscious, so highly conscious personality. Because to deal with Krishna is not easy. So much energy is there for, he is the whole creation energy is Krishna only. And you are dealing with that much energy means how much conscious you should be. Like no children, if they are very active and all, mother should be extra careful because they will do everything. And mother is always conscious what the child is doing. You are understanding. More energy the child has, na, more mother is conscious. Mothers will know this. More she will be conscious because they have to always keep him in track. He will lift this, he will break this, he will run here, he will there. So she has to be very conscious always. Now you are dealing with the Supreme Lord, Supreme Energy. How much Yashodamai? So it is not an easy thing to directly serve Krishna. So we have to learn with our spiritual master. That means just to be in the present, to be conscious. And that's why it is Nityananda Prabhu. And what is holding us serving him? You see, material possessions, wealth, opulence. One thinks the false temporary world to be an actual. So being puffed up. So this is what is we were discussing. So pride is actually the cause. We are not able to feelingly do it. So this is material disease. The living entity is eternal, blissful, but despite material condition, he thinks the material world to be real and factual due to his ignorance. So we'll come to this analogy of this camphor again. So this camphor analogy will paste down. Even if camphor is removed from the pot retains the aroma of camphor as long as the seed of desire are not destroyed. Fruitive activities are not destroyed. So that means even if one physically separates from family for a period, like a retreat or renunciation, the the mental impressions remain and the desire for family life returns again and again. So this is actually what is happening in the West. No? They don't. Some of them they don't have family also, but still they cannot make spiritual progress like that because the impressions are not gone. So then every year the plowman plows over the field up uprooting all weeds, but the seed lies there and comes again and again the next planting. So family life is like a field of fruitive activities. Unless the desire itself is burnt out completely, it grows back every time. So, like social media, delete all apps, feels liberated for a week, and then quickly reinstall them again. this is this is typical. Sometimes we get frustrated and we delete some apps, and then after some day again reinstall them, and maybe we feel maybe I need this app. So because underlying need for validation was never actually addressed. So they delete Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all these things, whatever X and whatever. They delete all the social media things and again reinstall. Of course, I don't have all the things. I only have WhatsApp. We don't delete WhatsApp, but they feel that they are so much disturbing. They delete them and after that again reinstall. This is the common tendency. And the next verse is, this is a big chapter actually. Sometimes in this house in the sky, Gandharvapura, the conditioned soul drinks, eats, and have sex. But overly attached, he chases after the objects of senses just as a deer chases a mirage in the desert. There are two worlds, the spiritual and material world. Material world is false like mirage in the desert. In the desert, animals think they see water, but actually there is none. Similarly, those who are animalistic try to find peace within the desert of material life. It is repeatedly said in different shastras that there is no pleasure in this material world. Furthermore, even if we agree to live without pleasure, we are not allowed to do so. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Krishna says that material world is not only full of miseries, dukhalayam, but also temporary, ashashvatam. Even if one wants to live here amidst miseries, material nature will not allow him to do. He is obliged to change bodies. So even if misery is there, that is also not permanent. And change is another type of misery we have to face. So that is the problem here. So this another analogy is given now here. He says that sometimes a living entity is interested in yellow stool known as gold and runs after it. Very heavy comparison. The gold is a source of material opulence and envy. It can enable one to afford illicit sex, gambling, meat eating, and intoxication. Those whose minds are overcome by mode of passion are attracted by the color of gold. Just as man suffering from cold in the forest runs after prosperient light in marshlands, considering it to be fire. Parikshit Maharaj told Kaliga to leave his kingdom immediately and reside in four places: brothels, liquor shops, slaughterhouses, and gambling casinos. However, Kali requested him to give him only one place where these four places are included. Parikshit Maharaj gave him the place where gold is stored. Gold encompasses the four principles of sin. Therefore, according to spiritual life, gold should be avoided as far as possible. If there is gold, there is certainly illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. Because people in the Western world have a great deal of gold, they are victims of these four sins. The color of gold is very glittering, and materialistic persons becomes very much attached to its yellow color. However, the gold is actually a type of stool. A person with a bad liver generally passes yellow stool. The color of the stool attracts a materialistic person, just as a will o' the wisp attracts one who needs heat. Such a heavy purpose. This whole canto Prabhupada gives very, very heavy purpose. And now many devotees have gold also. Only brahmacharis will not have gold. Otherwise, everybody will keep some gold. Now people want to invest in gold only because that is considered more safe. So Prabhupada is telling the trap is this. So I will add to it some. So Prabhupada is comparing like this. We'll just try to analyze. So, yeah. So what Prabhupada is telling is uh, the one of the most vivid and philosophically rich passage. The living entity runs after gold, and so this is, yeah. There is a question. Some gold is required for purpose of marriage, required for marriage purpose of children. See, Lord is also decorated with gold only in South Indian temples and North Indian everywhere temples. Lord is given golden ornaments. And if you see the description of Lord's beauty and decorations, and Lord is bedecked with golden ornaments, and Krishna is also wearing all the what do you say, the Kshatriyas in previous ages, Pandavas, they are also having golden helmets, golden armors and all. So it is uh, it is for Kali Yuga only, this comparison. Because previous ages, people were eating in golden plates. They were having all gold. Their chariots are made of gold. If you remember, Akrura was given a golden chariot to bring Krishna to Mathura. So man is suffering from cold in the forest, runs after phosphorescent light in a marshland, considered it to be fire. The man is genuinely suffering. That is, cold is what? Spiritual emptiness. Sees what appears to be solution. What is that? He is thinking this light, that wealth is what is going to satisfy me. That means he is empty spiritually, but he is trying that gold will suffice that. So heart is empty. So fill with gold. That is having the problem. So runs towards it desperately, and marshland traps him. He sinks deeper. So what is the problem with marshlands? So the heart becomes more empty. The light gives no warmth. It never is real fire. So gold is not, sorry, gold is not going to make him satisfied. It is going to make him more and more empty. Because if you have gold, what he is doing, especially this is applicable in Kali Yuga, that's why I'm telling. Intoxication, gambling, meeting in illicits. Previous ages, people were not doing like that. Now, presently, if people have this all this black money and all, cryptocurrencies and all, people are just using for all these things. These are present as the four pillars of degraded civilization. Wealth rather than so see, previous ages, that is not Kali. Kali is now only na. So Kali only stays in these things. Previous ages there is no Kali. No Kali means no breaking of four regulative principles. Kali only, people don't follow regulations. So previous ages, even if they had gold also, there is no effect of Kali. So that's not a problem. So people are completely destroying themselves. So We'll take this last one verse. Yes. Sometimes the conditioned soul is absorbed in finding residential quarters or apartments and getting a supply of water and riches to maintain his body. Absorbed in acquiring a variety of necessities, he forgets everything and perpetually runs around the forest of material existence. As originally mentioned, a poor man belongs to a merchant community, goes to the forest to get some cheap goods to bring back to cities to sell at profit. He is so absorbed in the thought of maintaining body and soul together that forgets his original relationship with Krishna and seeks only bodily comforts. Thus, material activities are the conditioned soul's only engagement. Not knowing the aim of life, the materialist perpetually wanders in material existence, struggling to get the necessities of life. Not understanding the aim of life, even though he acquires sufficient necessities, he manufactures artificial necessities that becomes more and more entangled. He creates a mental situation whereby he needs greater and greater comforts. The materialists do not know the secret of nature's ways, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Prakriti Kriyamanani. So, due to lusty desires, a living entity creates a certain mental situations whereby he wants to enjoy material world. He thus becomes entangled, enters different bodies and suffers in them. So at least today we can give up sense gratification after hearing such heavy purports from Prabhupada. At least one day we will fast from sense gratification. Today is the fasting. So this is the application of today's class from Prabhupada. Okay, thank you all very much. Any questions, comments? After so much. Okay, we'll end here. Thank you all very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।